So last week, one episode was so terrible, we never wanted to watch TV again. And the second episode was actually pretty good. And that's what you missed on Gleeboot.
Gleeboot.
Speaking of which, that's what you missed on Glee in the past couple episodes haven't been as fast because there's less story content for them to cover.
Should they be faster if there's less to cover?
Like he's not speed talking.
Oh, I get it.
So, like, is it just me, or was the Rhodes Not Taken episode the first time they did that, and that's what you missed on Glee? Or have I been missing it?
I thought they did it before.
I don't actually remember them doing it before, but we all know my memory is terrible, so.
Well, that's actually funny because, like, I literally wrote it down as my first note, and that's what you missed on Glee ever. And I'm like, wait, am I remembering this right? Or was that just my first thought when watching that episode?
You could probably look it up.
You probably could. The question is, will we?
Will we?
Will we? Why would this be well researched? Nah. I did come prepared with my stream of consciousness notes, so these will be fun.
Yeah, last time I had that really nice outline. Yep, that did not happen.
We'll get more prepared as we go.
So, first episode, Rhodes Not Taken, starring the lovely Kristin Chenoweth, Broadway icon. She was in American Gods for one episode. She originated the role of Glinda. She was in the Disney Channel original movie Descendants. I know a lot about things she's in. She was in that show Good Christian Bells. That was supposed to be Good Christian Bitches, but they changed it because they didn't want to be too offensive. She
was also in the J-Lo movie Boy Next Door that is basically just porn. And she plays an equally irresponsible adult in that one, too.
She's also literally the size of a pixie.
Yeah, she's amazing.
I love her. So she, basically the plot of Rhodes Not Taken, there's two main plots. Both of them are about men using women. And it's amazing. I can't tell that this episode is written by a man at all. So the main plot is unfortunately about Will, who is like, I need a star because Rachel's in Cabaret, because I gave that one solo to Tina and they seduced her over to be in Cabaret. So I'm going to have Kristin Chenoweth, who I used to have a crush on and is now a has-been who's squatting, and they sort of imply a prostitute.
Wait, you can't use her real name. You have to use her character.
April Rhodes.
Yes.
Who is an alcoholic, squatter, potentially a prostitute. He brings her on to the Glee Club. He gets her back in high school, but like she's in high school, not like a night school program.
Which is super weird.
And she is in the Glee Club now. And on the other half of things, Finn is worried about going to college, and Emma suggests getting a music scholarship, and he thinks the way to do that is to win nationals, so they need Rachel. And he, knowing that Rachel is into him, flirts with her, knowing he has no intention really of getting together with her, to get her to go back into Glee Club. And then Emma calls Will out on like, hey, April Rhodes is being a bad influence on the kids, as in she's sleeping with minors and giving minors alcohol and teaching them to steal. And then he's like, yeah, maybe I should make this about the kids. And April is like, I'm so grateful for you using me. You helped me learn to get my life together. Thank you for taking advantage of me. And the only person that comes across good in that storyline is Emma, who is the only real adult who's like, hey, we're teachers. This should be about the children. Plot 2, Finn gets more of a comeuppance because Rachel finds out from the Glee Club that Quinn is pregnant because Puck, the garbage fire, tells everyone that Quinn is pregnant, and they're like, oh, Finn must be the dad. So Rachel slaps him and is like, "You're using me. I'm not gonna come back to Cabaret." But then she's like, "I miss my friends," and she joins the Glee Club for their invitational. She sings some Queen songs. She sings "Somebody to Love" with them, and is back in the Glee Club. So that is Rhodes Not Taken.
God, what are we gonna do when there's like 7 plot lines happening?
No,
Cullen's gonna die before he takes it.
Cullen's gonna have to talk as fast as the "That's What You Missed on Glee" guy.
Here's.
God.
Should I have my Glee reboot? Should we do the Glee reboot question first, or should we just discuss the episode first?
Wait, what questions?
So because this is Gleeboot, we're all about rebooting Glee. If you were to reboot Glee, would there be an April Rhodes character who represents that not all dreams come true? Have that character.
The not all dreams come true character, or the character that goes through high school giving like alcohol and
right, exactly.
children.
Well, that's what we're here to discuss, which also leads to the larger question: would you have Will and Emma in it?
Well, haven't we already discussed the fact that Will is just the worst?
Honestly, if I were to reboot this episode or this whole series, there would be no fucking adults. I would focus just on the teens, and there would be adults just so there's some semblance of supervision. But other than that, no adults.
I
would have Emma, and I would have a Sue-Will combo, so the Glee coach is almost their own antagonist.
I think, first season Glee just continuously sets itself apart from the rest of the series. It's so different, and I don't remember why I liked first season Glee so much. I actually think that I may be more into season 2 and on because of how bananas it gets. This is, I don't know. I can't even explain how just uninvested in all these adult plot lines that once we get into all the craziness with the kids, I feel like it's gonna be way, way better.
I hope so. Really hope so.
Okay,
yeah,
so
I would less Will. Though I'm gonna say that this episode and the last episode, another episode we watched, are peak season 1 Glee. They're some of the best of season 1.
I guess I'm kind of confused as to what I even saw in the first season. So I have no opinion until I finish the first season. Will I be able to be this is where these episodes fall?
Same, seeing as I've seen all of it, so
Yeah, I just really like these 2 episodes.
Ugh, I did not.
I think that's going to be a theme throughout this podcast.
Yeah.
I never said what I would do in my version of the Gleeboot.
That's what we're waiting for.
So I would definitely have the dreams don't come true character because that's real and it's depressing and it fits my personality. And the only difference I would make is that they would not be an adult. They would be a held back senior or something like that. Just in the same realm, but totally out of any sort of the bubbles in the school.
Interesting. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Cool.
There you go. That's my take.
They would still be played by Kristin Chenoweth.
Yeah,
She will exactly look like
just like
35.
ageless 25-year-old held back senior. And nobody's
Yeah.
quite sure how long they've been there.
Yeah, because it starts, he gets the idea because he's at a diner with Terry the terrorist, and they're having grasshopper pie, and this guy's like, he's like, oh, waiter, aren't you in Vocal Adrenaline?
That's where I got the idea from the waiter.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm 24. So that'd be me hanging out with high schoolers. Ah!
Oh my god, I couldn't even imagine hanging out with high schoolers now. Like, I literally went to the pool yesterday, and then these like youths came up and were hanging out by the pool, and I was like, I just want to swim like an adult and do my like water aerobics. Can you not?
They're
Anyway,
they're so young and
so
little.
wait, if that guy is actually a held back senior and is supposed to be 24, he should be played by a 45-year-old man, considering how old the actual actors are that are playing 17-year-olds.
Yeah. Puck really isn't convincing as a teenager.
No.
Actually, I think most of them are actually decently convincing. Finn, mainly because of his acting, not because of how he looks.
Yeah.
But yeah, Puck is all, it's like that man is not in high school.
That is a man.
Man.
Well, Matthew Morrison dated Leah Michele before Glee happened. Because he's only that much older than them.
All right, let's dig into this fucking bananas episode.
In like a gold digger.
Oh, that hurt. Okay, so one of my first thoughts was literally, I remember parts of this episode that I loved because April Rhodes was in it, and then like 5 lines later, I'm like, April is the fucking worst, and I can't stand this episode.
Well, can we talk about how within like meeting her, Will's like, I'm gonna get you back on your feet, get you some underwear, and I'm like, how does he know that?
Yeah, can you not?
It's creepy. That's real creepy.
Also, like, when she's like, okay, one, that fucking house that she's squatting in, I was like, that is definitely Los Angeles. That is not Northwest Ohio. That's
Not
sure.
authentic Ohio.
And then she's talking about her life, and she literally says, then I had a set of mixed race twins, and those are the good old days. And I'm like, what? I don't remember that from my childhood.
Yeah, that is one of many racist lines in these couple episodes. We're gonna get into the next episode with Terry the Terrorist, 1800s level racist genetics.
My goodness.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So April, when I watched this episode when I was in college, I just didn't get, maybe because I was younger, it didn't quite hit me just how, like, they're playing the fact that she slept with, like, 3 teenage boys for laughs.
Oh god.
Yeah, that was not great.
And she's like, they're so cute, like, I will have in my eye on Finn Hudson. And it's like,
No.
this is illegal.
Very.
What's crazy is that, like, Rachel is like a moral compass. And I like don't know how I feel about it, but she literally stands up to April and is like, you are way too old to be here. And not even just that it's weird, but it's vastly inappropriate and you're doing really bad things to these kids. And it's like, oh my god, Rachel, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Rachel was also pretty great in this episode because she says to Quinn, she's like, we're here to support you. Maybe that was the second episode. It's connected. It's fine.
Yeah.
She says to Quinn, like, we're here to support you. And Quinn's all like, oh, I would be terrible to you if we were in the same situation or if the situation was reversed. And Rachel's like, I know, but like, I'm here to like be the bigger person.
I mean, I don't mean to spoil it, but like, Rachel may or may not be my MVP for both of these episodes.
Well, okay, here's something. I'm going to have to rag on the principal yet again because he allowed April to be in the school.
So here's what's great about these two episodes back to back is that you're right. It's literally a bad decision on Higgins' part. And drag him, Alyssa.
He's so bad for this school. And in the next episode, he allows Terry in the doors, not to mention that she's a nurse. What?
That he gives her the job as a nurse when she is not a nurse.
But he let her in the doors of the school, so...
Already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, all of these adults fucking suck.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting watching the scenes, how Emma calls him out. I loved Emma in this episode because she was like, we're here for the kids. And she also, poor thing, got thrown up on by Kurt when April got him drunk. And then he's like, oh, Bambi, I cried so hard when they shot your mommy. Which is also sad because Kurt's mom is dead.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh.
And then he throws up on her and it's like her worst nightmare. But she's like, this isn't okay. And you're like, thank you, Emma. But Will is like, April is like grateful for her being used. Which, like, there wasn't a beat. She goes from being like, yep, I'm on top of the world to being like, yeah, you're right. I should give this up, Will. Thank you so much. Whereas, like, Finn's bad behavior is still glossed over more than I think it should. But, like, Rachel is like, that is unacceptable.
April is such a weird character because, like, she clearly is only here to service one step of Shu's journey to being the worst Glee director ever. So, like, she's not gonna be important, like, ever again. And that's so clear in this episode that, like, she comes in, has this, like, full arc of being like, yes, thank you for using me, like you said. And it's just uncomfortable because, like, she wreaks havoc and then is gone. And it's like, okay, what does that mean for any of these kids? Like, is Kurt going to become an alcoholic or is he never going to drink again?
Are Tina and Mercedes going to continue shoplifting things?
Right.
Inside China?
Oh my god.
I just...
Wait.
God.
Like, the arcs, like, Shu's arc and April's arc in terms of each other make no sense anyway, because April's like, she actually grows more than Will does. He makes that decision, in the last 10 seconds of the show, it felt like, and then she's like, oh yeah, you're right. But it was very strange, because I felt like she was more, I don't know. Codependent relationships are not healthy, okay, guys? They were using each other.
Shu is literally, he just wants to save people when really he should save himself and get the fuck out of Lima, Ohio.
What if Glee is like Breaking Bad and that it's the journey of a man's descent into madness?
Yes.
I mean, his descent into madness was Acapellas, which, like, I'm pretty sure is over, right? Like,
he's in madness.
An episode.
Someone.
Yeah, she was the worst.
I was talking with one of my interns at my work, and they were talking about like how they went to this like private LA high school. I'm like, oh my gosh, your life is 90210. And then I was like, what is my high school life as a show? And I was like, oh yeah, Glee, the thing I'm doing a podcast about. If you were to reboot Glee, would you keep the teen pregnancy storyline?
Yeah, I mean, it's a super easy storyline to execute. Plus, like, it brings in a lot of like realistic struggles that can make it relatable, but you can still have like other madness surrounding it.
You know, like the first 5 episodes I would keep so far, because that's all I got. Or six episodes.
So, talking about the second plot, because this episode really only has 2, which is fortunate. I wish I could say I didn't, but I definitely did a couple times in high school and college. Not go as hard pressed as Finn, where like you take a girl that obviously has feelings for you and really manipulate her. So obviously, but I definitely did flirt to get what I wanted at times.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Cullen.
Especially in community theater, because the older women in their like 20s didn't realize I was a teenager because I was tall. So then I could just be like, could you tie my bow tie for me? Because they would do
Those are the things that you wanted. You flirted?
Yeah.
You just have to tie your bow tie. Because you didn't know how to tie your bow tie.
I still don't know how to tie a bow tie. How many times do I need to wear a bow tie?
I thought what you wanted was going to be more salacious, and then you're like talking about your bow tie, and I'm like, that is literally so precious.
Sure you were flirting and they weren't just like doing it because you asked?
Oh God.
Specific situation, yeah.
This is very confusing.
But like there'd be times where I'd be talking to someone, like especially in college, trying to get them to come to some group thing, and then all of a sudden I'm doing like the lean, where like you're leaning on the door talking to them, and in my brain I'm like, why am I leaning? Why am I doing this? But then it would work. Yeah. So I related to it, but it was really dirty because he knows how much Rachel likes him. But the whole like let's go to rehearse lines together is such a theater kid flirt.
Yeah, the whole like Finn seducing Rachel to try to like get friendly with her and maybe convince her to get back into Glee is like, I don't remember that. And honestly, the second it happened, I was like, this is just one of 2 opportunities of like abuse in this episode, with like April having sex with the teens and then like Finn doing this really creepy thing. And it's like, God, like this is a really uncomfy scenario.
Yeah.
They also went bowling. Me and Alyssa both really hate bowling. It is like it's like a sport because when you're bad at it, it's miserable and it's long and painful. But it's not like a sport because and it's like a sport because you can't really have a good conversation while you're doing it because you have to keep going to bowl. But it's not like a sport because you don't get good exercise, it's not healthy, and you're usually eating junk food. And everything smells like smoke.
It probably doesn't anymore.
It depends on the state.
How long ago did you go bowling?
I used to have to go in college all the time because they do mandatory like mixed with the other people who work for the university bowling. Yeah.
Well, as I get older, I discover parts about my childhood that make me more white trash and hillbilly than I want to admit. So like I kind of grew up in a bowling alley because like my dad and grandfather were both in bowling leagues, and like I would hang out with them. So like I think that's why I like bowling. I actually think it's really fun, but
To each their own. I would much rather go to like a roller blading rink or something.
See, I can't roller skate, so I just can't.
Someone rear-ended me last week. Do you want to know what state they were from?
Please tell me it was Ohio.
It was Ohio!
I fucking knew it. You know why? Because the lanes are so much wider in Ohio. They didn't know what they were doing.
True. True.
But also, that's no excuse. Like, they're from Ohio and they're the worst. I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, you should have found out what county number they were. I could have told you where they were from. What if they were from like Northwest Ohio? Like, what if they were from Toledo?
Boom, boom, boom. I filmed a movie in
Yeah.
Toledo. I spent a lot of time in Toledo.
I've never been to Toledo.
That's where Leone was filmed.
Oh my god.
Do we not?
Leone is a classic film.
Yes.
Sidebar, back to the April stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe this time, still fucking rocks. Honestly, both of their voices together are amazing. I'm talking about Rachel and
yeah, that was a great song.
it's such a good song.
I liked when they were practicing lines for Cabaret, and she was like, "Oh, I slept with him," and then Finn's character, whoever was reading for, was like, "I slept with him too," and she's like, "That's Sandy's favorite line," and I just love those little asides like that because they're not trying too hard to be funny, but they are funny because they're like in character. Yeah. My college roommate was in Cabaret. I went to go see him in it.
Oh.
Yeah. He was also in high school in an all-white production of The Wiz.
Oh my god! Oh, that brings back memories.
Yeah. So the songs, in the first episode, these 2 episodes had some great songs because they had Maybe This Time. They had Allyssa loves this song, so she should talk about it.
Total Eclipse of the Heart.
That was not Total Eclipse of the Heart,
Yes,
Alyssa.
It was not.
What was it?
How Do I Get You Alone?
It was Alone by Heart.
What the fuck?
But they do Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Here this season.
In this season, yeah.
Oh, that was Total.
That was not Total.
It was not Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Because
No.
I have on my Glee playlist.
Yes.
I have Total Eclipse of the Heart is on there, and
Is
it is
it?
sung
Is
by
it
Rachel.
April?
Hello. Hold on a second.
Oh yes, it's Rachel.
It's
It was
Rachel.
definitely
Jesse,
Alone
Hutchinson.
by Heart. Yes, I actually asked in my notes, where is Jesse St. James?
He's in the back.
Stop.
I know.
Stop Netflix. Sorry.
You could Google this, you know.
I know, but I want to see it.
Quinn's pregnant and Puck's the father, but Quinn...
Okay. It's the green background.
This is
Yeah.
episode. We haven't seen this episode yet.
Okay. I remember this because I like the background.
Rhodes not taken,
Rhodes not taken.
because April Rhodes.
Yes.
Here's
Okay.
Glee is subtle. That's what I love about it.
This one. Their little
Yeah.
duet.
Hit it.
Alone.
Oh my god. Jesus.
These
I can't believe I made that mistake.
these songs are related.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
still love this song, but my brain definitely mixed those two up.
Yeah. It was the first time Will sang and I didn't wanna die.
Yeah. I was actually kind of into it.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
Matthew Morrison doesn't have a bad voice. It's not
I
my
think-
favorite voice to listen to, but it's a good voice.
I think Matthew Morrison is a wonderful human being. I just cannot fucking stand his character.
I actually really liked that performance. I think it was my favorite one because it has a green background and it's a song that I like, which is not Total Eclipse of the Heart.
That was great. So, yeah.
The other
Yes.
songs were Carrie Underwood. I don't even know his last name. which was
My
fine.
last name.
My last name,
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the turn at the end of the story, because all country songs are stories.
they're all stories. Because I like their little cowboy dance because it looked like something high schoolers would choreograph.
But didn't technically Shu choreograph it?
Yeah, but like the way they dance, like because in the first season, not all of them are dancers, and later on they've gotten better. But at the beginning, it's like they could only do so much, so it looks actually kind of authentic.
Yeah.
And then the Queen song at the end. Somebody to Love.
Somebody to Love.
Yeah.
I had to sing it in my head.
This is an amazing cover.
That's also
of that
a
song.
great song, yeah.
It's an amazing cover. I think it's one of Glee's best covers.
I love that the choreography for that one is super simple because Rachel had to just walk in and be able to do it.
So I have written down here, and it's actually very similar to like one of my last lines for the next episode too, is how did Rachel learn that lesson so quickly? She is a lesson learning and giving machine in this series. I don't remember what lesson she learns at the end of this episode, but it was so significant that I was like, it literally took one episode to learn that.
She was like, oh, I need to care about my friends. I don't want to just be a star by myself. Because she was talking about her goal setting. And
No, that's the next episode.
Oh. But she just wants to, she wants to do it with, she wants to perform with her friends.
That's not the next episode. That's this episode.
No,
but then maybe they're both the same.
They're kind of both the same.
Yeah, I was like, they're
Next
both sort of related.
Is she learns that she can't take any shortcuts.
No. She learns that she needs to be not selfish with her goals. She goes from wanting to have a Grammy to wanting to win regionals.
Yeah.
So she has a group goal.
But this one,
they're both really similar.
She watches them sing and she's like, oh, I want to be there with my friends. I don't care about, because Sue gave her complete control over Cabaret because Sandy was being honestly abusive to her and he wanted to play Cleopatra in Cabaret. It's bizarre production where there's only one character cast and an extra character's added. Yeah, so
she's so creepy.
Sue gives her complete control, and then she's like, "No, I'd rather be with my friends." Which, in my version of Gleeboot, my Glee, I would have most of the first season be devoted to having Rachel learn about I want to support my friends and not just be the main star, and then actually have her remember the lesson. That'd be the main focus of my reboot.
I 100% support that because honestly, this and the next episode, because of they kind of button on Rachel learning something, but we don't spend enough time with her really developing that. She just kind of learns it off screen, like what we talked about last time. Anything that's important to her story is overshadowed by Shu and Finn. If we got rid of Shu's story, there would be room for Finn and Rachel, which I think are really the two characters I even really care about right now.
Maybe that's why I got confused about who was learning what, because Rachel has about, 2 minutes of development.
They really, in both these episodes, it's here's a Will plot and here's a Finn and Rachel plot. None of the other kids really get storylines, and 50% or more of the episode is devoted to Will.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess it is it's Shu, Finn, Rachel, but Finn and Rachel are always somehow linked.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because when you said about the shortcuts and then actually Finn and Rachel learn that in the next episode to like not cheat, like cheating isn't winning. And then Rachel learns something on top of that, but we don't really know how or why. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. I honestly wish there was more Rachel, because honestly, again, I'm just gonna say it, she's my MVP for this whole week. Like, I think she nailed it and is honestly one of the most mature people in the show, and she's like a sophomore in high school.
Oh, for sure.
So should we transition to mash off?
Do you want to do worst character and worst song?
Don't we do that at the end of both episodes?
Oh, I thought we were doing it for each episode.
I think the last couple times at the end we do worst song of the 2 episodes, best song of the 2 episodes, best worst character.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. All right.
Are you guys getting arrested?
No, I think someone's house is burning down.
Oh,
They're like,
that's
stop talking about Glee. No one wants to hear it. All right. So the second episode features the mash-offs, which are both on my iPod. It's basically the kids are garbage high schoolers, and all high schoolers are kind of like this because they hear that their competition in sectionals is like a halfway house, girls' school, and a school for the deaf. And so they're like, we have this in the bags. They're not motivated. So Will is like, let's do a competition, boys versus girls. Then in his personal life, which we could not wait to see more of, Sue is upset that Quinn is pregnant. She lies and says that she's tired from Glee to Sue. So Sue is like, I need to destroy Glee Club. We get another great Sue moment. She tells Terry that as a woman, she can just tell that Will's going to cheat with Emma. And she tells Terry that desire to procreate is a sign of weakness. And then Terry the terrorist decides to enter the halls of McKinley as the school nurse because the school nurse got pushed down the stairs by Sue. And Terry is just let in as the nurse, despite not having any experience. Will is a baby because he can't flirt with Emma about peanut butter in his chin dimple or whatever.
It was mustard. And it was disgusting.
Yeah.
I hated that entire scene.
Because Will and Emma's relationship is about wiping things off each other's faces. Like the flashback of the chalk dust. So then Terry is all like, Emma, you're a floozy. I do like the jokes about her being like a harlot in harlot sweaters because her sweaters are so like childish. And then she convinces Ken to ask Emma to marry him, and Emma doesn't want to be alone, and she's like, Will, like, basically, do I have a chance with you? And Will's that misses it. And so she agrees to marry Ken. And Terry, in the meantime, gives all the kids basically like Claritin or Sudafed or whatever, and it acts like an upper drug for them. So they get super hype to do their performances because Finn has been feeling really tired between school and football and Glee Club and being popular. He's just tired, and so he's given up homework, but he's still tired. So he goes on drugs, but over-the-counter drugs. And
Because that makes it better.
That makes it better. And Howard Bamboo, the racistly named man that works at Sheets and things.
Oh my god. Discovering his last name while on the elliptical, I almost fell off.
Rachel was on her elliptical this episode too. Oh my gosh.
I know. We honestly, every time I get on the elliptical or hear that song, I think of Rachel.
I do love her like morning routine where her song plays and she immediately like
wakes up. So great.
liked both of these episodes. I definitely liked this one more.
Yeah.
Even though there was still way too much Will. The mashups are both fire.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I liked the plot with the kids. Just, yeah. So should we talk about Terry the Terrorist?
Oh, God. All right. So I find it, and I think Alyssa's right. There is some really poor leadership in this school
The
that
principal
is
sucks.
letting in adults who provide children these somewhat illicit substances, and it's like back-to-back episodes. Where is the superintendent of this school district?
I think when we reboot Glee, you will be in the show as the superintendent.
I will, and I'll be like, Figgins, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And that Terry, you really are glad Terry's not pregnant because you're like, I don't want someone like her to raise a child. Because she's like, I wasn't made to work 5 days a week, and I'm like, you think being a mom is like easy?
Do you think it's 5 days a week?
Like, and then, so because there's the plot where Quinn's like, she's like shopping because she wants Quinn's baby, so she's like, oh, Finn has good bone structure. Oh, like, you, okay, the baby's healthy because you're throwing up, Quinn. And then she's like, Quinn's like, hey, will you give me money for doctor's appointments? And she's like, no. And it's like,
I wanted Quinn to keep pushing that. Like, I honestly wish Quinn would have been like, okay, well then I'll just like fucking punch you in the stomach and prove to everyone you're not pregnant. Like I just wish Quinn would have pushed that, because like she's absolutely right to ask her for that stuff, and like Quinn made a great move there.
because if Quinn was if you think about it, if Terry wasn't as awful of a person doing something as shady as she was, Quinn's not necessarily making a bad decision. She's a teen mom who's theoretically giving her baby to like a stable family where she knows and trusts them. And like that's this opportunity that a lot of other teen moms don't have.
Well, it's basically Juno.
Yeah, it's Juno.
Yeah.
And like so she has that opportunity, which is great, and like she's like, yeah, it's good for Finn, it's good for me, and you're like, yeah, but it's just Terry's an awful person. And in most adoptive scenarios like that, they would pay for like your medical stuff.
Yeah,
Also,
but Terry's just like a fucking bitch, and she's just greasy.
and it's like, not only are you racist, Terry, you're old, like you use super old words to be racist. And then she says, sure, to Emma, like, Mary Ken, like, your children may get weird genetic diseases from his weird melting pot of ethnicities. And you're like, Alyssa was like, that's not how genetic diseases work. And if anything, being more inbred
is where you get more diseases from.
Yeah,
That's not how genetics works at all.
Ask the Habsburgs and the royalty of Europe. They were white AF, but like had like weird jaws and like hemophilia.
Yeah. Yeah, Terry just like, there's nothing redeemable about her because she's just manipulative, she's rude, she's racist, and she's a fucking idiot. And she's really just selfish. Like there's absolutely nothing that we can like about her, and she's not even like you love to hate her. Like I just hate her and want her to go away.
Pretty much. It's like that person in the room that you're just like, can you please leave the room? Please leave the room. Here's a question though. Do you think that they made her use the old-fashioned terms for being racist so she didn't come across as like too on the nose racist? Because not a ton of people would get it.
Maybe.
I don't know. I kind of feel like she has like a Sue type racism where she uses certain words that like we may not be familiar with, which like I don't want to say like makes them sound smarter, but it's definitely just like it's more unique. Because when Sue says some of the crazy shit that she does, there's such a twist on it that you're like, that's a unique way to say it. Not that it's good, but it's just different and it catches you off guard in a different way.
Gotcha.
Like maybe it sort of hides it because maybe it makes you like focus on like how funny it was delivered because like Sue saying half the shit that she does is like yeah. Yeah, honestly though, this episode was actually pretty iconic because mashups were kind of Glee's big thing. And like this is the first episode where they did them and like Colin said like both of them were pretty fire.
Wait,
But
there's
like
50 more?
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, like
Oh.
that is Glee's thing. Like kind of essentially like one of their musical call to fames. Like rather than just doing covers, doing mashups of two covers. Like I cannot wait for my favorite cover, which or mashup that I will save. But I think I've talked about it with you, Cullen.
Yeah.
But like honestly, like there are some really solid mashups that I'm like, it might be better than the original song.
Yeah, this my life. It's my life and my confessions together. Great. It was super fun. I liked their Walking on Sunshine and Halo combo. Like, who would have guessed that those songs go together so well?
I kind of wish, like, for the guys, it was kind of too on the nose for those songs, considering Finn was also the lead singer on those. I kind of would have wanted to see how they decided those songs. Because, like, for the girls, it was kind of like Rachel just decided them and they were like, yeah, okay. Like, that, I don't think we have to see on screen, even though we kind of did. But, like, the guys, their songs are so on the nose for Finn's story that it's like, how did you guys come to this decision?
I love the boys' performance though. Like the actual performance was great. I loved it.
Yeah, very energetic.
Yeah,
Well, they were on uppers.
Yeah.
they were.
But they conveyed it pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
When he's like, "Come on, let's do the number," and his eyes are like wide open. Yeah. It's like a pretty simple storyline. But it was fun. Rachel had amazing facial reactions. Like Muppet level facial reactions to things where she'd just be like her mouth would be like agape and she's just like what? Yeah.
One thing I have to say about the guys' performance is like Mike Chang started dancing and I was like, yes, Mike Chang dancing, moves that don't actually match the beat or general tempo of the music, but yes. He like did like a pirouette and like belly flopped and I was like, dude, this is not on tempo. But I love you.
Oh my goodness. The girls' performance really annoyed me.
Why?
Because all of their hair was down. It was driving me crazy. It would be in their face. I was just having like an emotional breakdown watching their hair get in their face. I can't stand that.
I have bad news for you. You probably want to get used to that.
No!
Yeah. You know how it is. You know, like women can just do things with their hair down, like active things in heels. Like we're all very capable of that. So get on board the train, I guess.
I chopped all my hair off. Suck it, world.
Now she's bald. But also, like, there are actually a couple things about the girl's performance that kind of annoyed me. And honestly, like, I didn't even think about the hair thing, but now that you've mentioned it, it's going to bother me. And
I didn't like
so-
the dresses, but
dresses. Oh my god. None of them really match. They're all different patterns, different like shades of yellow. They're different fabrics, different styles. Like they were a mess. And also, Brittany, the blonde dancer chick,
Yeah.
her dress literally looked like a nightgown when I first saw it, and I like had to watch it
Yes.
very closely. I was like, I hate everyone who selected these dresses. I cannot stand them right now. They're the worst.
I'm gonna defend the performance in that it bothers me in action
Feminist
movies.
ally Cullen.
It bothers me in action movies, but I do think that a lot of like teen performers would dance with their hair down, but that's why a lot of professionals have wigs, so they can make it look like their hair's down and then control it. But the dresses, you could tell, like, this is before Glee. This is when Glee was pretending to be in the real world, and before they just started having extravagant costumes every time they felt like it. So they all both mashup outfits looked like things kids could conceivably get together. Like, let's go to the Salvation Army and get yellow dresses. Let's go to the Salvation Army and get... Suki did not agree with that. She did not want yellow dresses.
Suki's like, those dresses suck, and you will say yes to that.
Oh my goodness. Do you know why the boys had a better fashion sense? Because they had Kurt.
But Kurt said they rejected all his ideas for feathers.
I.e. also
But
cornrows.
they still had
His idea was cornrows.
Oh, Kurt did want that to put them in cornrows, which
And I'm like, is it because it's an Usher song? What are you trying to say, Kurt? Also, Kurt was wearing a scarf, and I was like, I want to drink one for Deborah Messing and Smash.
whenever we see a scarf, we are triggered by memories of Smash. Which, talking about hair getting in your face does make me think of Smash, because in a musical number in Smash, at like the very end of it, you can see Katharine McPhee like quickly tucking her hair out of her face because it just spun her in the air, so like it'd be in her face, and she's like, "It's fine."
What else can we talk about?
It
I
ended-
mean, can we talk about Howard Bamboo?
Gosh,
Howard Bamboo.
that is so racist.
Why is that necessary?
I don't have any idea. Like, I am stunned.
Like, I thought it was funny that he got arrested for selling or buying all those drugs, because they do keep track of how much of that you buy.
They're like, he's making meth.
But why is he Howard Bamboo, and why does he work for Terry even when they're not at Sheets and Things?
It's like calling me Alyssa Maple. Kind of. Not
What?
quite the
No,
same.
a white
Not
person.
quite the same.
A white person could legit have the last name Maple.
Maple tree.
I just don't see anyone's actual last name being Bamboo. There's a lot of weird Asian jokes throughout the run of Glee. We're gonna run into more.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yep. I hope you're sorry.
Oh my god. I
Mm.
forgot about something from the previous episode.
Okay.
It's like one of the first or early times I remember seeing that guy who's like the reporter for the school newspaper, the like frizzy-haired ginger guy, and he's like, show me your boobs, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tells Rachel to show him her boobs. Your over-the-shoulder boulder holder.
Hold
Yeah, it was kind of weird how they had the whole Kurt, I'd rather be with the girls thing, or I am a
Oh, that's
girl.
because he's gay.
But his
Don't
whole
you-
arc was wanting to be like, I can be on the football team and be just like the guys.
But that was like 3 episodes ago. Like, we've already forgotten about that. Let's keep up. Keep up.
Yeah,
This is a sitcom in hour-length form.
it really is. Like, the amount of time characters relearn the same lessons and like fall back into the same pattern, it really is a sitcom that's extended by songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one really grows. Like, there's some slight growth that you might see, like, in other sitcoms, especially ones that are made now, but, like, everyone pretty much stays the same.
They'll grow and then they'll like cut back on the growth because they need someone to like cause drama.
Yeah, exactly.
So I still really enjoyed both of those episodes. I thought they were really fun songs. Too much Will, but like that's season 1 for you. And we're leaning more and more. Like I feel like Rachel and Finn are taking up a slightly higher and higher percentage each episode. And I can't wait till even the second half of this season when I feel like Will's percentage like goes down.
Yeah. It's gonna be a great time. I can't wait.
I can't wait till the Rock crushes Terry. Just Rock lands on her. That's what happens. Spoilers.
What? Cullen? What?
And she says that Rock was a minority because she's racist, and that's her last line.
She's dead?
He said she was crushed by a rock,
That doesn't mean you died.
but her last line was racist.
Yeah, she died as she lived,
She died as she lived.
faking a pregnancy and being racist.
No fake babies were harmed in the making of that scene.
Yeah. But I enjoyed this episode, and I really like the songs. So let's go into do you want to do our favorite and least favorite songs? Because this one is hard, because there are a lot of songs that in another episode could easily be the winner. But there's some good quality covers.
So are we doing favorite song for each episode or between both episodes?
Between both. But if you really want to do for each episode, I'm not going to stop you.
No, that honestly makes it way easier. My favorite song was Maybe This Time from the previous episode, even though I liked the Vitamin D / Mashups episode better. And then I actually think the worst song was also from the previous episode, and it was Don't Even Know My Last Name or whatever it's called from Carry On To It. I hated that number. But like, I couldn't pick between the mashups. They were both so good.
How do you feel, Alyssa? Is your favorite song Total Eclipse of the Heart?
It wasn't in this episode.
It's that one. Honestly, though, like it's a toss up between Alone and the mashup that the boys did, and I just really like the performance of Alone. Number one, I like that song, even though it's not Total Eclipse of the Heart. And number two, the background is green, and green is my favorite color. So I think I'm gonna have to go with that one.
What was your least favorite song?
My least favorite song, Halo, the Halo mashup with the hair.
So, I really love Somebody to Love and the Halo Walking on Sunshine mashup.
Oh!
But my favorite is hands down It's My Life / Confessions. It is a bop.
It is good. That is good.
And I had a lot of trouble with my least favorite.
I love how positive you are. I was like, I know what my least favorite is.
You know what? It might be I don't even know like my last name. Like I wasn't watching it like, oh, I hate this. Like I was like, oh, this is fine, this is cute. But it's like I would never if I had to like someone was like, listen to these Glee songs, that would be the one I'd be least interested in listening to. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Also, this is something we talked about when we were watching it. We were like, if you're watching like all their performances, the crowd's always way too into it. And I'm like, this should be like just your parents and your friends.
And they're always, yeah, it's way too big. Like, there is no auditorium that would be completely full.
For a Glee Club invitational where they sing 2 songs.
Absolutely not.
And they also have to have a break in between their 2 songs to change. So like everyone's just fucking sitting there.
Like it would not be that crowded. And if Glee's a comedy, I think that would add to it. I think they just they want us to think the songs are good, which they are. So they're like, oh, we need a crowd that's like standing ovation cheering. But like the reality is a Glee Club in Ohio on like doing their Thursday night invitational. It's going to be like Kurt's dad, Finn's mom, Brittany's parents, who we meet later. Like, yeah.
I think that's why I like a lot of just like that's why I like a lot of the non-performance songs, because like you're really only relying on how good that person or people are singing that song, and it doesn't matter who's watching.
Yeah. I get that. So I think we all have the same, I don't want to venture, but MVP of the week. You said a million times.
I 100% think it's Rachel. Rachel Berry for the win. She gets a gold star from me.
Same for me. Rachel Berry's been like working her way up the past few weeks, and like this is her time. She was reacting. She had face journeys to everything that were great. She learned lessons. She was a nice moral compass. She was just very sympathetic and understandable, and she's a great
mature.
Yeah, she was a character I could root for. She was flawed, but I'm like, yeah, like I want you to get what you want. People are jerks to you. Like you deserve to get to sing Somebody to Love. And yeah, good for her. She was funny. And she was kind to Quinn, which I think was nice because she's like, everyone thinks we should be in competition, but we're not. And it's like,
I loved that moment so much.
Yeah.
That's the most feminist moment in all of television history.
Yeah, because they're 2 women talking to one another.
Which I've never seen happen in real life.
Yeah, no, I mean, Alyssa and I are only talking to each other through you.
Yeah. The only reason this is happening is because Cullen.
Hey, Cullen, can you tell Alyssa I say hi?
Hannah says hi, and she hates her hair.
Tell Hannah I never want to speak to her again, except through you.
She never wants to speak to you again because her hair is her value. So, what was your favorite character this week, Alyssa? I have to ask you because Hannah can't.
Well, I'm going to go with Rachel, too. I think that she was great. And she was the adult of this show. She even surpassed Emma. So, congrats on that one.
Yeah, good for her. She won't stay there for long, but she made it. And least valuable player. This is a hard one.
I'm gonna go with April Rhodes because like
Kristin
Terry always gets because Terry always gets it. Like she's literally going to be the worst until she gets crushed by that rock. So honestly, I'm gonna try to like vary it a little bit and be like April Rhodes gets it. She's just a plot device for Will Schuester wanting to save people, and it's annoying. But I do love Kristin Chenoweth, and I think she's super delightful and funny. But I hate her character.
I bet you guys can't guess who I'm going with.
Are you picking the principal?
Yes. Principal Figgins gets it. Oh my goodness. First of all, he let April Rhodes in. Second of all, he employs all of these terrible teachers. And he ends up employing the nurse, which is Terry, who is not a nurse. And apparently didn't know that she wasn't a nurse because they have a scene where he's talking about how she's not even a nurse. And I'm like, you should know that. You're the principal. You hired her.
He literally, like, when he was interviewing her, he's like, but you don't have any qualifications. She's like, well, it cheats and things. I used a defibrillator once and had first aid training. And he's like, oh, wow. And then she was hired.
I have no words.
All right.
None.
Hey, Cullen, can you ask Alyssa what her words are? Because I know she's not saying anything because she can't talk to me directly.
What are your words?
None.
She has no words.
Oh, okay. Got it. I understand now.
So I've been having trouble because I really want to say, I said Puck was the worst character last week, and he did out Quinn being pregnant, so screw him. But Terry is so terrible. She reaches new lows. She refuses to help Quinn who's pregnant. She doesn't want Finn to take a nap. And she gets kids on drugs and like blocking a kid in his nap, evil. But I've been complaining about him for a while, and I'm gonna walk the walk. It is Will Schuester. It is one William Schuester because he's taking advantage of April and just so he can win the Glee Club, which I know he needs to win to keep the Glee Club, but his whole point was to help the kids, so he really lost track of that. And then he is kind of a jerk to Terry, and where he's like I don't want you falling at my work. I need my space, and I get you do need your space from your partner, but it's I don't know. It's just the way he treats his wife in public is kind of really humiliating and unacceptable. And Emma, who he's flirting with all the time, is do I have a chance with you? And he doesn't even really give the dignity to be no, I'm married, I have a child on the way. He just kind of leaves her hanging. And then it's oh, you're marrying Ken, which I get why he's surprised, but he's been flirting with Emma and he encourages it. He doesn't stop it. So gross.
That, and we also see him teaching Spanish for the first time in a while, and it's honestly the most uncomfortable thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah, because he talks about if I were to go to Mexico, and it's okay.
It's we get it. You know 7 words of Spanish. Thank you.
Yeah, and he's letting April drink in class, which it's hot chocolate. But
it is gin. She's lying. It is gin.
April Rhodes, I imagine her getting gin from the same gin bathtub as Miss Hannigan and Annie, which as a kid I was that's so gross. She's drinking bathtub water. She's drinking gin.
Spoilers.
Spoilers for Annie. Yeah. But overall, I enjoyed these episodes. There were some great songs, and this was more what I remembered of season 1, and I liked not the horror that is acapellas.
No.
Yeah. So
wait, is Howard Bamboo going to sit in prison, or is he going to get released?
he's back. They need to make more racist jokes, I think.
Oh, true.
There's this line. I'm just going to spoil this line because Sue's your nickname is Panda Express. And he's like, I'm not Chinese. And she's like, neither's the food at Panda Express. Which is racist, but also a little funny.
I mean, somewhat accurate.
I'm not laughing. It's
Like,
fine.
if you had to rate all the racist Glee jokes about Asians,
Yes, let's us, 3 white people, rate the racist jokes on Glee.
that would be the highest humor per racist ratio. And the Mongoloid, or maybe his name being Bamboo, would be least humor, most racist.
So we have a scale, a racism scale.
Or even the mixed twins thing. Why are the twins mixed? Why is it a joke that those were the good times?
And what happened to them? Like, did she just give them away? Are they just out there somewhere?
They were
don't
in a
understand.
huge audience watching her performance.
What? Cullen, can you translate?
We were joking about who would be in the performance, watching the Glee Club Invitational, and she's like, April's twins.
Oh my god. Okay, so you guys must have cut out because I heard you say something and then you guys laughed and I was like, I want to be in on it. So now I get to be on it. That's a good one.
April's storyline would be so different if she was also a single mother.
She would, I was going to say she would be more mature, but that's not necessarily true. I would hope
I was going
that
to say
she would be more mature.
that she's not a single mother.
Like, if those kids were involved in her life, if she was actively...
If she was a good single mother.
You could have, like, Rachel babysitting the kids, and she's like, I'm gonna take home Puck, and Rachel's like, this isn't okay. Which they just have the same scene in the bathroom.
Okay, I feel like we're way off topic.
Yeah, so we did the best characters, we did the best songs, and the worst songs. And that was another week of Gleeboot.
Yay!
I forgot what the thing is. How do we do it again?
I don't think we have an end thing. I think last time we just let's do this, and we did it.
So, like and subscribe. That's YouTube.
Check the link down below.
Smash that like button and hit that bell.
Smash that like button. What platforms are we on currently?
We are on Spotify. We're on Microsoft Podcasts, or like the ones that are on Microsoft phones, Androids. We're on... Gosh, I really should know. It's like this driving one, Driver Breakers or something. We're not on Apple Podcasts, which is where I listen on my podcast. I wonder if we need more episodes before they'll take us.
I don't know, because I don't use Apple phone things.
So our main thing, we're on Spotify. Subscribe to our podcast. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Tell your loosely connected acquaintances. Yeah, if they're like, I want to rewatch Glee, just be like, you can do it with this company of these great commentators. Or if they don't want to rewatch Glee, we're doing it for them.
You're welcome.
Service for America. We're not the heroes America needs, we're the heroes America deserves.
Oh, that's beautiful. And I think we'll probably get more consistency as we go. We'll figure out what we should do when we start and end. So it's going to be great. We'll get all organized and profesh about it.
Not organized, because I was thinking if we do this many episodes per month, I was like, we will finish by the time I'm 27. We might need to speed up.
Yeah, and I was like, hey, why don't we just do homework ahead of time and then come together and talk? That should streamline things.
It did, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. That was Gleeboot, guys. Tell your friends, tell your family, and we will be back soon with the next episode, which is called Throw Down, don't remember what happens in it, but it's not the Hoedown Throwdown, so second Hannah Montana joke this week. That's what my life has come to.
Yikes.
Yikes. Catch you on the flippity flop.
Love it.
Glee!